No, the jacket I wear, but the shirt. Next grew about an inch.
I've gone a little less this year. The first year I had a high. Last year I guess.
I noticed that.
Where did choke you under the shorts? Yeah, you gotta find it.
I guess, I don't know.
Karaoke, always gonna open the night with karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this thing rolling so we can get our plates and then move into our award section. We've asked Mr. Jerry Doherty to come up and say the blessing over the food, so if you guys would please remove your caps and bow your heads, Jerry will bless the food for us.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening. We thank you for these kids, for these parents. Dear Lord, we just thank you for the ability you've given them. We thank you for the opportunity we have to gather here today to celebrate their accomplishments. Dear, we just ask you to bless this food and nourish our body. Bless those who prepared it. And Lord, just bless us as we leave this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, senior athletes, you guys will be first in line, followed by juniors, sophomores, freshmen, and then parents will go after that. So go ahead, hey guys, go around that way and come back up this way.
It was canceled. They couldn't cancel. So I was glad. My goodness. I guess they killed my son, but I drove by and I thought the phone had fallen over. So they started to start their car. Their car right now, they're full electric car. My second phone was back up.
Have a good
Yeah. Those girls are wild. I believe that's the last. That's the last. Cage didn't just break it. Yeah. Well, 10 foot was his height. So I made a mistake. The record was good. We would always go 10-6. He would always have to do 1. So this year, I made my mind up. Clear 10. We're just going to go up 1 inch in the house. So we made that. So then we went up 6 inches to 10-7 and he made that. So we went to 11-1 and he made that. And he almost made 11-7, which we did the last time. He was close. He just,
I'm going back to be sure that was.
that's kind of what happens. It's kind of level, you know. Learn that like technique and tool. Coach it up, I saw to get rid of them other records. Nobody can say any different. Nobody old enough around. Well, it's like Lane and that other record. He didn't just break it, he lost it. Right. You know, I did not realize the rock was. Yeah. Yeah, we used to get over there a lot, not so much anymore. But with work, we have a lot of pipelines over there.
Yeah, his wife has law offices right there on Main Street, right? So if you're over there, it's his little house.
Yeah, I got a card from him. He said he'd take me out for coffee. I played that rifle golf course. Have you seen that? And very reasonable. Funny story out there. We were up there working. A big crew. And boss, we had Coach 9 brothers. He was Terry. He passed away. He was we went out there to play golf. Terry's a pretty good golfer. We're number 1 team. It's headed west. And there's a big net there for protection. Kind of shameful. Clubhouse and restaurant area. Some sort of like ladies' all dressed real nice and all those little things out there. Terry gets up her hip and hits her right on the toe and he's driving. Kind of underneath it. Straight up over that net. Bounces across that parking lot. Just and lands up there on the patio and rattles around. All the ladies stopped looking. We all just took off walking and left Terry standing there on the tee. Just north of there, we have a compressor station, Grease. Just west of there is a Elon space. Big old Now Brock's got a
Yeah, so his oldest son is Cody, and Cody lives in Bristol. Closer, you know, Brock area.
Yeah, CJ's one playing. You know, my mother, she'll survive. I can call you at Well, I don't know, but I heard her tell Brock he was her favorite.
I had her twice, so I said that, and I said, pretty brag about fifth grade twice. I can't say around it, but I have her in and fifth grade.
You know, I don't know. Kind of made it. Chinese, anytime you get somebody. If you're the right way or wrong. Come in. Set it up. I just set that back. So I hope he's doing that.
Well, he was real nice. He had dinner with, we had guilty.
You got food around. It'd be real nice.
What brought that on? That's funny. I don't think she's right. I'm pretty sure she's the baby around our house.
They got after it.
Well, there's,
Not- West Coast. Well, it's a good thing the hair's not required.
that's
Where's Mr. Hipton?
He said, "Hope you know,
You're on the live feed.
Does it look like we're gonna get hit? Yes. Right now. Yeah. No, mine too, so can you? When you pass us, we don't even see you, you're going.
I feel strongly both ways. Good.
They were coming out earlier.
But those
Messing the team and everyone knows what the team was at the moment. It's like running around. That's funny because she was just telling me about a dream she had, and then I last night, it's like, oh, yeah, that just kept popping up.
He said, I dreamed about you last night. She was wanting to give you.
That's it. That's my dream right there. Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, it was really good. See, because we're gonna get.
On the console, right? So it's a vertical like this. You can see it. I have to see it.
Okay. Hey.
Oh, we didn't put these in order.
Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with the awards. Your phone probably dinged just like ours. We are under a tornado watch and there's some storms lingering, so we're going to try to get this thing done as quick as we can. First off, on behalf of the Booster Club, administration, school board members, high school coaches, faculty, and staff, we'd like to thank you for attending our 2018-19 All Sports Booster Club Banquet. Before we begin, how about a round of applause for our Booster Club who continues to impress year in and year out. So at this time, we're going to start the awards section. I don't know if you guys realize this, but this was a pretty successful year for Wildcat Athletics. Did you know that right now, Elkhart High School has won the most league championships of any High Plains League school up to this point, with 3 championships won so far. The closest to us is 2. All that's left to be awarded is track. So even if I'm going to go out on a limb and say we probably won't win the track championship, the best someone could do is tie for first with us. So how about a round of applause for our athletes and coaches? So we're just going to kind of click through the sports. We're not coaches. I'm not going to introduce you. So as soon as football's done, we'll just have volleyball and we'll just stay in order as we go. So I'm going to start off with football. This year's football team was a product of hard work and dedication, and I say that every year that I'm up here, and every year it's a truth. This past season we were league champions, district champs, regional champs, and sub-state runner-ups. We spent most of the season ranked anywhere from number 1 to number 3 in the state. We finished the year ranked as high as number 3 across the state. This year's senior football players, stand up for me. And we're missing Traquan, Weston, and Sage. But this year's seniors are leaving Elkhart as the winningest high school football team 4 years with 28 victories compared to any other team in the history of Elkhart football. Most wins of any. The past 3 years, we've won more than any 3-year stretch in the history of the school with 23 wins and 8 losses. So we've done some really neat things, and I tell you, I've said this before, when we went to Plainville this year for the playoffs, and you guys that went, you can attest to this, we had more fans there 5 hours from home than the home team did. So it was a pretty neat deal. So hopefully we can keep that rolling with Coach Hahn, who's coming in here next year. Before I start giving awards, there's some people I want to thank. Andy Bain. Andy's in the audience today. Round of applause for Andy. He helps us with transportation. And I'm telling you, our fields are nicer than any fields in the state of Kansas, any grass fields. I don't know, is Coach Hall here, Rick Hall? Is he here tonight? Rick videos all our games for us. David Aranda, taping ankles and keeping stats when needed. Dr. Todd Johnson, taping ankles. Rex Richardson, who handles the AD duties for me during Friday night games. All the moms, if you're a football mom, raise your hand, please. Football moms, thank you. You guys fed them, took care of them. Our local churches, they provided food on away contests, snacks for the boys when they got on the bus. Jason Hall, he grilled burgers for us this year and helped out as needed. Seaboard Foods always donates meat to our tailgates. And then my managers, I don't know, is Alyssa? I know I saw Aubrey. Is Alyssa here? Two of the best managers in the state. And then if you're in the press box crew on a Friday night, raise your hand. Round of applause for those guys. That's a lot of work. And then lastly, my assistant coaches and their families. You know, during a normal football week, it's 7 days a week from the start of the season till the end. That's literally not a day off. Saturdays and Sundays, you'll see our vehicles at the school watching film. It's just a lot of commitment to have success, and these guys are always showing up. So, football wives, thank you. Mr. Hibden, we're still working on him one, so. So, thank you guys. Thanks to the families who put the time in. Okay, now with our awards. We'll start off with our letter award winners. We had 21 letter award winners from this past season, so if I call your name, guys, come up. Remember, it's your first time lettering, you'll grab a E, and then you'll grab a football and a bar. First time lettering in football, just a football, and then everyone gets a bar. So I'll just call you up. This is numerically. Oakley Hastings, come on up, please. Austin House. Joey Doherty. Sage Hoskinson. Manny Moreno. Elion Prieto. You guys just line up right here. Javier Gomez. Chase O'Hare. Jackson Hastings. Noah Bain. Blaine Wisnan. Garrett Hall. Isai Moreno. Tanner Hannibal. David Luera. Weston Bolden. Jose Gonzalez Rodriguez. Miguel Gabino. Trey Miller. Barry Clark and Tyler Reeves. These are our letter winners. If you guys would just line up there, we'll give you a round of applause once we get them all in place. No, you get it. Okay, I always tell these guys this, they're never going to win a beauty contest, I'll promise you that. Okay? But they're pretty good football players, so. Guys, good job this year. A round of applause for our football letter winners. Okay, now for our individual awards. We give out a Lineman of the Year award. This young man isn't here tonight. He was going to be here, but then when we had to move the Banquet, they had an FFA trip planned. So I'm just going to read it off and I'll give him his award. The Big Nasty Lineman of the Year award. This award goes to the top lineman on our team from this past season. Linemen are always battling in the trenches, and the trench is an ugly place. A lot of things happen in the trench. In order to be a lineman, you have to be a little bit nasty as a player, thus the name, the Big Nasty Award. This young man is a two-time All-League lineman and a first-team All-State lineman this past season. Big Nasty Lineman of the Year for 2018, Weston Bolden. I know Weston and his mom, they are watching tonight. We are live streaming. Okay, can I have Tanner and Tyler Reeves come up, please? Tanner and Tyler Reeves. Okay, so each year we give out what's called the Futures Award. It's to a freshman or a sophomore who we believe is going to make a really big impact on our football team in the future. Last year, Chase O'Hare won it. He had a pretty good year for us. Our coaches vote on these, and this year it was a tie. So it felt like one young man played a bigger role on defense, and the other played a bigger role on offense. So these guys are both sophomores. They got a lot of room, maybe not to grow, but we think they're going to be pretty dang good linemen for us in the future. So our future award on the offensive side is Mr. Tanner Hannibal, and on the defensive side, Mr. Tyler Reeves. Good job, guys.
There you go. Thank you. You look over here.
Linemen don't smile.
Tyler had a great victory on it.
My next award is the Special Teams Player of the Year. This guy returned punts for us, returned kick for us, held all our PATs, and he punted when we needed him to. He returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns, and I believe he was only kicked to 3 times all year. So the Meade coach told his kicker before he went out, do not kick to number 28. And he kicked to number 28 to open the game, and Lane went for a touchdown, and you ought to see the film where that kid is getting just ripped by his coach. But obviously, if we could always kick it where we wanted to, we'd never miss an extra point, right, Jose? Special Teams Player of the Year, Mr. Lane Wisnam. Okay, my last 3 awards are Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and what we call our Alpha Award for our MVP. Again, this year on the defensive side, we had a tie, so we have co-MVPs from this past season. Both of these young men played significant roles in our defense, and it was the top-rated defense in our league and top 3 in the state this year. Our first co-MVP led our team in tackles with 81 total. He had 9 tackles for loss, a couple of sacks, a few forced fumbles, a few pass breakups. He plays the middle linebacker position like someone just slapped his mama. Angry, that's what you want. He's a 2-time All-League choice and an honorable mention All-State player this past year. Our first co-MVP award goes to Mr. Chase O'Hare. As Chase is grabbing his award, we'll bring our next one up. Second co-defensive MVP goes to a young man who also won this award last year. He was a major force as defensive end. Many teams ran away from him, which shows how dominant he was at times. He finished the year with 36 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. He's a 3-time All-League player and a 2-time All-State player. He was a very physically dominant defensive end for us. Our co-defensive MVP along with Chase, Mr. Javier Gomez. Okay, our offensive MVP is a young man who scored a touchdown rushing, passing, and receiving this year. We needed someone to step up because we knew teams would scheme to shut Lane down after his record-breaking season a year ago. He was moved all over the field and was a major impact player for us. He rushed for 520 yards and 6 touchdowns, had 650 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns, and passed for another score. He's a 2-time All-League selection and a first-team All-State pick. He was a true playmaker for our offense. Our 2018 Offensive MVP, Mr. Elion Prieto. Just goes to show you, you don't have to be real big to be a good football player.
Yeah, but you gotta be fast.
You do have to be fast. My last award is our Alpha Award, which goes to our most valuable player. We talked to our team a lot about needing 11 alpha males on the field in order to win at a high level. The definition of an alpha male is a dominant person within a particular group. This past year, Lane was that guy for our football team. It's an honor to give our 2018 Alpha Award to Mr. Lane Wisdom. Now, as Lane's getting this, I just want to read this off. Lane is one, if not the best football player that's ever come through Elkhart High School. He broke the following school records in his 2 years as a starter. He broke the single-season rushing record, career rushing yards, single-season rushing TDs, career rushing TDs, total TDs in a season, total TDs overall in a career, that's passing, rushing, all that. And then he broke the average rushing yards per attempt. Two-time first-team All-State unanimous player, three-time All-League player, two-time finalist for the State Player of the Year, and only the second player from Elkhart to be selected to play in the Kansas Shrine Bowl. So Lane, we will miss you, and you guys know that the Shrine Bowl is coming up here in about a month, so hopefully we'll see you in Dodge City for that. Thank you, coaches.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank the Booster Club for wonderful food served tonight. It was very tasty. You guys did a great job, as always. And I also know after putting on graduation reception for 2 that it's a lot of work putting into it and cleaning up, so I really appreciate the ladies for setting up for all of us and the cleanup they have to do here. I'd like to thank Mr. Hattabaugh for keeping me closely informed and in line, I guess, during our volleyball seasons. A lot of things come up with Jim and scheduling, and he's always communicating and getting with me, and I appreciate that. He also gets all the volunteers to work our matches for home, and sometimes that's worse than pulling teeth. But I thank all of you that do volunteer whenever he puts out that call that we need clock, books, people to call the lines. You're all very, very much appreciated. I know that we've got just people that are in the community, businesses that come up to do it, our parents, and our staff, faculty that help volunteer for that. Mr. Richardson, thanks for being the guy in charge with all the craziness while Coach is out there on the football field with practice, because you can't believe how crazy it gets whenever 24 plus girls from another team hit the gym, and it's wild sometimes, and he handles all that for us. And Shelby Chapman, thank you for filming and being my crew person. Couldn't have done stats or anything without you. I appreciate being able to depend on you. I'd also like to thank my assistant coach this year, Cam Walsh. She thought she was stepping out, and as soon as she put in that she was gonna go out of middle school, I started roping her and dragging her back, and I appreciate her stepping in and helping me with the high school team. I appreciate her work ethics and the expectations that she has from the girls and for our program overall. I'd like for all the girls this season, volleyball players, for you to please stand at your tables, please. So as you can see, we have a pretty good group. We do have, I know Kylie's gone on FFA. I don't believe Whitney Jimerson is here. But we had a good group of girls. They finished our season with a record better than 500. This team also, just a minute, stay standing. This team also was awarded the Distinguished Scholastic Achievement for collectively, as a group, maintaining a GPA between the 3.25 to the 4.0 for the season. So, and the girls' coach was just telling me he had a 3.41. So they didn't barely get by, they got by. So that's a great job. Let's give them a hand. Our JV girls did really well this season. They played for the third and fourth place at the Hugoton tournament, and it was a long day, and the competition was really tough with some of those bigger schools being in that. And that was a great play, bracket play for them. They also made it into the final bracket play at our preseason tournament at Satana. And Coach and I, we could just really see the girls growing and developing the skills all season long. So we're excited to see what's going to be returning. We're losing a huge amount of seniors on that varsity net, so it's going to take all of them coming back and being determined to put it out there like they did this season. The varsity had some really good matches. Some of our highlights included us beating some of our bigger schools. We traveled down the road to Guyman, Oklahoma, and we beat them on their court. And I don't know if you guys have ever attended, I know my parents have, but Guyman sits right on, it feels like the serving line, and they are talking trash the entire time. And it was allowed this year until we finally had a ref by the last name of Bookstore, so if you remember her, she finally asked him to move up and to please calm down, because it can get into your head and it kind of alleviates the game, but we beat them on their court, and it was awesome. Then, whenever they traveled here, we had to, maintain ourselves, and we were able to beat them on our court also. So the girls it was exciting to watch them play with Guyman. We also beat Hugoton, another bigger school, whenever we seen them up at the Cimarron tournament and at the tournament at Hugoton. The senior girls this summer, before our season started, chose a motto, and we had it put on our shirt. It was a one word, and it was valiant. And it just meant being determined, showing determination at all times. Our record may not have always showed the win, but as long as they left it all on the floor and they were competitive and they played with that determination to get it, then we were successful. And I believe that was a great motto for this group of girls this year. They really put that to the test with us whenever we were at senior night. We beat Syracuse in September. And then come along October, it's senior night, and we've got football games and just the excitement of it. And we were really talking about the Coach Hadaball and Mr. Richardson, man, starting at 4:30, do you really think that's going to be enough time to get us out there so our girls can walk, before the football game? And, we kind of looked at scores before and everything. And so we were like, yeah, we'll get it done in 3. Because whenever you just play a dual one team that night, you have to play that's the best out of 5. So our girls decided to make it exciting, and we pushed it to where we had to play all 5 matches. And we won the 5th one by 2, but we did get it done. And so I think they were very valiant that day to be determined to win on our home court their senior 9. And we walked out with the boys for the recognitions of the seniors. This year, the following girls lettered by being on the varsity or the sub-state team. So as I call your name, I'd like for you to come up and get your bar, your pen, and as Coach said, if it's your first year lettering, you'll get the E, the ball, and the bar, and the rest of you will just get the bar. Bethany Thomas, she is not here tonight. Chantry Hoskinson. Kylie Richardson has gone to state FFA. Sabrina Matais. Shaden Haynes. Whitney Jimerson. Jasmine Lavario. Bianca Boltman. Chevelle, Austin, sorry, got your nickname in there. Reagan May, Jenny Forbes, and Camry Richardson. The first award, as these girls are wrapping up, that I was going to recognize was I had two girls that worked hard to earn our senior captains. They had to attend the weight sessions and work out off-season, be dedicated off-season, and play summer ball, and also just be part of the fundraisers coming up and team planning. And I had two that met those requirements. Again, Kylie Richardson was one of our team captains, and she's not here tonight. Kylie met the requirements of all that. And then Chantry Hoskinson was our other team captain. Chantry doubled the weight room, and I know some will think, well, it's because her mom's the coach. And speaking as her mom, I really feel like she doubled the weight room because she knew that there was chores at home, and so she'd always say, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta go to town. In volleyball, serving's vital, and it's always intense for the game. And most of the time, the girls like to get up there and they like to just fire the ball so that the girls on the other side are screaming and they close their eyes because they don't want to receive it. But there's an opposite of that, and it's called the floater serve. And it's really hard to be consistent and to be able to do that all through the season. And I had a girl that last year I thought she was kind of lucky with it. But this year she proved herself with the consistency, and it was like every game she just earned us points with this floater serve. And it's great to watch because the girls across the net are so confident that they can return it. And it comes out, it ends up just like an ace. It scores directly to the floor, and then they're all looking at each other like, what happened there? But this floater recognition I wanted to give was to Bethany Thomas. She's not here tonight. But we had a game where she served 10 of these in a row, where the ball barely comes over the net. And the coach actually took 2 timeouts during her serving times because they were trying to get it to where it was broke. The next award that I have is for a young lady that's not here. It's the Lady Cat Spirit Award. She came to practice always with a smile. Her role probably wasn't as great as what she, wanted it to be, but it was still an important role. She was able to step in and serve some balls when we needed it. She was thrown in the back row whenever we had some. She tried to play the front row for us. But she always attacked every practice with a good attitude, and she was definitely encouraging on the sidelines. You could hear her probably in the other gym where the JVs were playing, with her encouragement and always rooting for her teammates on the floor, and that was Shady Haynes. I have a girl that played an integral part of the back row, and it's the libero, it's a specialist, and it's the girl that's always in the white shirt, and that's the easiest way to explain it, those that you don't follow volleyball. They just go in and they can relieve anybody on the back row for ups and for receiving the serve. And she played a great part of that, and this year it was Whitney Jimerson. My next award that I'm wanting to recognize is a girl that started on the JV net. She came up and she filled in for whenever some of the varsity girls were gone, sick, for whatever reasons. And she had to step in and play with some seniors, and if you don't think that's intimidating, it is. And the seniors not that the seniors were meaning to be, but your expectations for yourself is to not let them down. And she played, and then she would go back down to the JV, get comfortable again, and then we'd have to pull her back up, and she filled the role great. She liked to stroke me out sometimes because she always wanted to do a little fancy routine before she served the ball. And I know that her dad would have died too if she would have went through the legs and behind the back and over the head before she served like she wanted to. But this Rookie of the Year award goes to Camry Richardson. Okay, and my next award goes to a lady that did whatever was asked of her from the years that she's been on the court through her senior year. Last year, she just worked hard. She gave it whatever. I pulled her up, told her that we still needed to work on some things. She went back down to the JV, played with intensity. This year, it was constantly every day asking me, you know, am I getting the job done? What do you want me to do to get the job done? And just whatever was asked of her on the net, hitting, you know, serving, trying not to be in the net because we weren't fish. I mean, she just worked hard on whatever I asked. And this year's most improved player goes to Sabrina Montes. Okay, my next award, when looking at the stats, it was really hard to break down my girls because in volleyball, it truly takes all of them. It takes the back row pass, it takes the setter, it takes the kill, it takes the ones that are covering for those that are setting and digging to work all as one unit. But this young lady, she was up. She was the top 4 in all of our stat categories. And she was just well-rounded in whatever was needing to be put on the floor, whether it was the setter, it was a digger, it was a hitter. Ace serves were kind of the lifeline with her too for us. And she is not here tonight, but the impact player for our volleyball team this year was Kylie Richardson. The next award, again, looking at the stats, since the girls were so close, it was a split of the leads and the tie of who was our top candidates for this. Again, it took all the areas, it took the kills, it took setting, it took the ups. I guarantee you, if the pass on the back row when the ball comes over is not set up, nobody else can finish their job and be productive with it. The girls worked hard not to let it get in their heads whenever things didn't quite work out or the timing. They just kept going at it. They were valiant with it. And this year, I have co-MVP awards, and they go to Chevelle Ralston and Chantry Hoskinson. Thank you for supporting our team this year, 2018. We hope to see you next year on our floor for our 2019 girl.
Okay, this year. I turned it on. I got it now.
I think so.
There we go. Okay. This year for cross country, I only had one letter winner, and that'd be Cole Schultz. So Cole, can you come up and get your letter?
Cozy MVP, she may have been my only runner, but I had coaches come up to me from other teams and comment on how good of a runner she is and how much she improved this year. She worked extremely hard, and she just missed going to state. So I'm hoping next year I get to see her run at state with maybe her sister.
Okay, I got a few thank yous here. Hopefully I don't forget anyone, but real quick, let's show a round of appreciation to the Booster Club. I'm telling you, we feed so many kids, not only our own, but kids that are traveling on a bus, and it takes a lot of work and effort. We can't say enough how much we appreciate that, and how much the other schools are envious of us. So, good job, Booster Club. Kent Golden for announcing our games. Pastor Danny, he's announcing. Alicia and Lana for keeping books and clock. Mr. Hadamall is always my bookkeeper on the road and lines me out after a tough game. The Board of Education for our continued support for all of these activities and athletics that our students are involved in. The maintenance and custodians. Special thanks to Mrs. Bain. Please stand up real quick. The pet man and She does a great job. I'm trying to embarrass you there a little bit. Coach Wheeler and the cheerleaders for always supporting us and encouraging us and the Kiwanis for keeping the gate. And those guys are always willing to do whatever needs done. So. It was truly my pleasure to coach this group of girls this year. They put in a ton of time in the off season. Some of those girls played over 35 basketball games during the summer. Went to camp, and that's a lot considering that our whole entire season is only 20 games long until we get to sub-state. So they were in the weight room, they were up shooting on our new shooting machine, and they were doing all the extra things that's going to just continue to pay off for them down the future. We were a young team this year, but Coach Hoskins and I, we just couldn't be more proud of them. They just continued to improve throughout the year, and we're looking for good things from down the road. Our varsity team, we finished 10-11 this year, but we went 3-0 at the Syracuse Border War tournament, and JV finished 6-8, and they just continue to get better throughout the season as well. I wish best luck to our seniors, Kylie and Chantry and Bella. They were all out all 4 years and provided some outstanding leadership to our young kids. I also want to thank Coach Hoskinson for always letting me have a shoulder to cry on after it was a tough loss, and then I wouldn't shut up when we had a great win. So she just got where she was tuning me out all the time. So real quick here, I'm going to have Jenna Johnson, Cadence Alvarado, J.C. Parker, and Abby Ishmael, if you'll stand up real quick. Give them a quick round of applause. Not only did were they great teammates and players, but those girls helped me film. They helped me keep stats. They would be in their basketball uniforms and helping us manage the varsity game. So can't tell you enough. Thanks, girls. Okay, the next girls, I'm going to have the rest of them stand up here. I'm going to call your name if you'll just come up front. And I'm going to kind of reiterate the academic part because this is a fantastic group because sometimes I think they challenge me mentally. Well, most of the time I know they do because I know most of them are sharper than I am. So, but all of these girls should receive academic recognition, but through our league constitution, they have to have earned a varsity letter in basketball to also be considered for academic honors in the league. So when I call your name, if you'll just come up front, I have a certificate for you here. I'm going to give those to Coach Hoskinson too, so she can hand those out. So our first one is Nellie Higgins, who earned a varsity letter and was named first team all academic. if you want to just hold your applause, I'll just name them all, and then we'll just line up here and we'll clap for them one time. So, Macy Egan, varsity letter, first team academic. Camry Richardson, varsity letter, first team academic. Sydney Brillhart, basketball letter, first team academic. Yeah, girls, and you can get a pen over here too. So. Jenny Forbes, basketball letter, first team academic. Aubrey Schumacher, letter, first team academic. Carrie Rumpel, basketball letter, first team academic. Chevelle Ralston, letter, honorable mention academic. Reagan Nave, letter, honorable mention academic. Kylie Richardson, letter, first team academic. Chantry Hoskinson, letter, and honorable mention academic. Paola Garcia, letter, and first team academic. And our wonderful manager, Aubrey Shackelford, letter, first team academic. So for them to be first team academic, they had to have a 3.5 GPA or higher, and to be honorable mention, they had to have a 3.0 to a 3.4 and under. So please give these girls a round of applause. Yes, that's the first time she's laughed, yes. Good job, girls. Andrew. Okay, these are our postseason awards. Both of these girls were nominated by the other league coaches. Well, they were nominated by me and they were voted on by the other league coaches. And they both received second team all-league in basketball. So, girls, okay, our individual awards, our most improved player this season. This award goes to a young lady that worked extremely hard in the off-season, during the season. She showed a tremendous amount of improvement as a defender and on the offensive end. Coach and I are looking for great things for her for next year, and that award goes to Carrie Rumpel. This year I decided to give co-MVP players. Both these young ladies were tremendous night in and night out. Our first one goes to a young lady. She led the league in rebounding. She had 216 rebounds for the season. That's amazing. She was fourth in scoring. She averaged 12.3 points a game. And she had 10 double-doubles, which means that she scored 10 points and had 10 rebounds. And that is a huge accomplishment. She was also named on the Topeka Capital Journal as All-State Honorable Mention. And Chevelle Ralston is our first co-MVP. last award goes to a young lady. She had a little bit more difficult time this year because she got moved from our shooting guard position to our point guard position. She's taking on a lot more responsibility of handling the ball, breaking the press, and the shots just didn't come as easy as they had in the past. So she had to do a lot of work to figure out how to get open when she was also responsible for getting everybody else lined up in their spots. She earned all tournament team honors at the Syracuse Board Award. She was 5th in the league overall in scoring. She averaged 11.6 points per game, and she finished 4th in the league in steals. My final award goes to co-MVP, Champion Hoskins.
Thank you.
We've got 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Awesome. All right, boys basketball. Yeah. See, I told you people are excited. That's great. We had, actually this is my first time in 3 years being here. I had quite a number of fans, people that I don't even know, I hadn't even ever seen before, would come up to me and say, "Coach, and you got those guys starting to play some basketball." I said, "Yes, sir. Thank you." And we had, it started to look like a basketball team out there, and it was just so beautiful to watch those boys work together. If you haven't been out there, I would encourage you guys to go out there and watch boys basketball. It was a tremendous improvement this year. And to help me this year, it's my assistant coach, Leo Carrillo, did an outstanding job here. Yes. So, if you play boys basketball this year, please stand so all your friends and family can see who you are, your bright smiley faces. Yeah, there you go. There you go. These wonderful gentlemen worked really hard this year. Thank you. For this year's letter winners, we had Justin McKinley. Yeah, come on up, Justin. Emmett Espinosa, Joey Godfrey, Noah Bain, my adoptive son, Manny, right? I got that right? Okay, good. Yes. Jackson Hastings, Oakley Hastings, Sage Hutchinson, not here? Javier Gomez, and Elion Prieto. These are this year's letter winners.
If you already have a letter, just grab the basketball and
All right. This next award goes to a young man who came out his freshman year, played basketball, then decided he was going to spend the next couple of years in the weight room, and he got a lot bigger, a lot stronger, can jump, and he did outstanding things on the football field, but he decided this year to
come out and play basketball. And even though he had spent 2 years with not playing, and just coming out of senior year, he did some outstanding things for us defensively. In fact, he was in the top 10 in the HPL in rebounds and in blocked shots this year. And so our defensive player of the year is Javier Gomez. Speech. I'm trying to get your picture. There you go. This next young man, his freshman year, every time he shoots the ball, it was just an adventure where that ball was going to go. Hit the back wall, hit the ceiling, go all over the place. It was like a knuckleball. If he was a pitcher, he would have been outstanding. But then he decided he wanted to get a little bit better. So we spent some time in the summer, worked on his shot, worked on his game. And this year he led our team in scoring per game. He also was ranked in the top 10 in the HPL in scoring. Oakley Hastings. Our last award tonight comes to a young man who I'm really going to miss as a coach. This guy could just read a basketball court. In fact, he led our team in steals. He was the top 10. In fact, he was in the top 4 in the HPL in steals. He also was in the top 4 in the HPL in assists. He didn't lead our team in scoring. He's probably number 3. But when you get steals and assists, that gave us more opportunities with the basketball to score. He was the fastest person I've ever seen going from end to end dribbling the basketball on that basketball court. When we need somebody to break a press, we just throw it to him. He's gone. We had no problem breaking the press this year. He was also a great team leader. He established his presence as a leader on the court and in the locker room. Our MVP, Elion. What do you think?
Okay, we're gonna start off by calling the whole squad up. Mr. Headlong and You've Madison Atherton, Megan Days, Tori Caton, Paola Garcia, Bethany Hollingsworth, Bianca Boltman, Karen Johnson, Molly House, Ella Witcher, Reagan May, Schaefer Hayes, Macy Tucker, and Clark Chestnut. Stay up here, guys. Seniors, I have a little gift for you, so come seniors for just a second. I just wanted to give these girls a round of applause. They really do work their butts off. I mean,
took not a day off. I know they're still working hard, but we're on the bus every day. So they definitely deserve a round of applause. Our 2018-2019 cheer season was full of lots of great moments. Everything from my extensive music education on our road trips to one of us being starched on the sideline during football regularly. Roasted marshmallow shoes, just for the purpose of warmer toes, Tori and Madison. All the way to many dance battles brought on by our courageous mascot. The girls worked very hard this year and were willing to try new things, such as ending our season with a stomp dance instead of your everyday dance routine. I know this dance was new and challenging, but after much discussion and many changes, we were able to perform it, and I was very happy with the way it came out. Good job, girls. Every year, these girls push themselves, and sometimes don't get the credit they deserve. I want to commend them all for their commitment, including our mascot, who this year, I don't think he missed a game. Away game, home game, he was there for it all. I would like to thank my co-captains, Madison Batterton and Megan Daves. They were both very instrumental in helping the others throughout the season. I hate to see them go, but can't wait to see what they achieve. MVP, we'll start with that. As it is every year, the squad once again voted for who they believe best deserved the vote for MVP. This year was extremely close and came down to one vote. Our MVP for this year is Miss Megan Daves. Some of the reasons that the squad gave for their vote were her display of leadership, her friendly helpfulness with anything that another squad member may be struggling with, as well as the fact that she was easy to talk to. We'll move on to most dedicated. This year's most dedicated award goes to a member of the squad who is always there to help no matter what, whether it be locker signs, new cheers, remembering old cheers, or even choreographing a whole new type of routine. This year's most dedicated goes to Madison Batterton. Next, we'll move on to most improved. This year's most improved goes to a squad member who went from being very unsure of herself at the very beginning of the season, as well as often late to practice, to being absolutely determined to stick to correct motions, words, routines, and whatever else was necessary or asked of her. She was also very eager to learn each stomp beat and help others along the way with the stomp dance that we performed at the end of the season. This year's most improved goes to Bianca Bull. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Ed Coons was gone today. Eddie's gone today for the livestock, or FFA stuff, so I get to do this. Our junior varsity players were Forrest Quigley, Logan Johnson, and Tim Warner. The other person that was also on the JV this year who will receive a scholarship from the Banquet Memorial Scholarship Fund is Ethan Buck, and that will be an amount of $500. The varsity team, sorry, I don't have a certificate, but the varsity team placed third at their last event, which was in Stanton County, which is also the site for our regional tournament on the 13th. So that's given Coach and I some encouragement that we may take the whole team to state instead of just individuals. Aubrey Schumacher, Joey Doherty, Noah Bain are on that varsity team. Clayton Runkle is our most improved, but he's gone today. And Lance Eddington is our MVP this year. Aubrey, come up and get your letter too. Yeah. You got the adult thing, you just need to talk.
Okay, I just want to start by, again, thanking the Booster Club for everything you guys do for us. This is a hit every year, and we appreciate all you do for us throughout the year and during the season. Thank you to Mr. Hadaball. I don't think this could be said enough during the spring. The weight on this guy's shoulders and everything he does for us as coaches is really appreciated, so we thank you for everything you do for us, the support you show us. And I want to thank Andy Bain and Salvador. Our field looks great every game we have. They prepare for us, and they do a tremendous job. For Pastor Denny and his announcing of our games, he does a great job. Makes you definitely feel like you have home field advantage. And to Alicia Brownfelter for her stat keeping every game. I never have to double check her stats. First, I want to introduce our letter winners, which is our regional team here. Elion Prieto, Lane Wizenan, Chase O'Hare, Javier Gomez, Garrett Hall, Caleb Lee, Sage Hoskinson, Jackson Hastings, Oakley Hastings, Emmanuel Moreno, Ethan Buck, Lance Addington, Hadley Blackburn, Justin McKinley, Isai Moreno, Joe Wizenan, and Xander Woodward. We're still in the middle of our season. We have one more regular season game, which is tomorrow, so we have one more chance. The game's been moved here, so you have one more chance to come out and watch us play. These guys have been working extremely hard, and I feel like as the season is going on, we're working harder and harder, and today was probably one of the most productive practices we've had all year. These guys are currently 16-0 and ranked #1 team in the state right now. These guys are such good players, they make me look like an even better coach. But they are also the High Plains League champs for the second consecutive year. Regional play for us will begin May 13th, and we have locked in the 1 seed for that. Our first round game, hey, just a second, you gotta stay right over. We've locked in the 1 seed for that, so we'll be playing Leota on May 13th, which is a Monday at 3 p.m., and the second round will begin May 15th. Currently, we don't have any all-league or all-state selections. The all-league selections are happening this Wednesday evening. I just would like to point out, though, that we do have one returning honorable mention High Plains League selection in Emmanuel Moreno. 3 first-team all High Plains League selections in Javier Gomez. 3, let me get this straight. Javier Gomez, Elion Prieto, and Garrett Hall, and the High Plains League MVP in Lane Wizenan. These guys are also the All-State, the Kansas Association of Baseball Coaches All-State voting will happen May 18th, and we are returning one honorable mention All-State pitcher in Garrett Hall, second team All-State shortstop in Elion Prieto, and 2 first-team selections in Javier Gomez as Javier as a utility player and Lane as a pitcher. Sports in Kansas also voted Elion second-team All-State shortstop and Lane first-team All-State outfielder. My assistant coaches who are here tonight is Rick Hall, Will Fraunfelter. Those guys do a tremendous job helping me out throughout the season. So at this time, I just want to give out our awards. And so for our first award goes to a guy that is probably the smoothest glove that I've ever had the opportunity to coach. One of the fastest guys. We've had pointed out to us on numerous occasions, if the ball gets hit in the middle of the field, he's going to make a play. And if he gets on base, in the blink of an eye, he's already on third scoring. So Elion has done a lot for us, and he is our Gold Glove Award winner. Our next award is our Silver Slugger Award. The recipient of this award is currently batting .500 on the season. He has 7 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 32 RBIs, and 24 runs. And he has only struck out 1 time on the season in 54 at-bats. And that's Javier Gomez. Our most valuable player this year goes to a guy that does it all for us. Plays just about every single position. I think he's even begging me to let him play first base so he can say he's played every position on the field. But night in and night out, I ask him, to play a certain position, and he does it without question. This kid does everything for us at the plate, on the mound, and in the field, and our team MVP is Lane Wisman.
I sent out an email today for those of you who haven't heard. Tomorrow's game against Mineola will be in Elkhart. Their field is unplayable. They did request we play at 2 o'clock due to the impending weather in the late afternoon, so they don't have to deal with that on the bus ride home. So varsity only tomorrow. Mineola versus Elkhart, our final game, baseball games of the year. All right, so as we get started with softball here, again, I'd like to start once again by saying thank you to Booster Club, your support for all the sports and the kids that are involved is very much appreciated. And I'd also like to thank a few people, Megan Fraunfelter, who has really donated a lot of her time this year to announce our home games. My wife Tracy, who has done a good job keeping our stats this year. Angie Nichols, who's driven our bus for out-of-town games and has to put up with us coaches when she does that. Andy Baines, Salvador Alvarado, who've come up and gotten our field in really good shape on game days. Jeff Luck and the folks down at the rec to make sure we have great facilities. I know Ronnie and Dennis put in a lot of time down there as well, getting the fields ready before the start of the season. They were up there nights and weekends, really doing a lot of work. Again, Coach Hadabaugh, who goes above and beyond his duties as athletic director to make sure we have what we need. Also, a big thank you to Seaboard and Moores. They donated a lot of the food we had for our alumni event earlier. Specifically, I'd like to thank the parents, again, for supporting your kids, and our community for supporting our program. Without that support, it would be impossible to have any of the success that we do. So real quick, we'll jump into the introduction of the team. Girls, softball girls, if you'll stand up. We have 27 girls out for softball this year. It's a really good group of kids. They work really hard, and I think are dedicated to making improvements every time out. So thank you guys very much. You can have a seat. Of those 27 girls, nine seniors this year, and that is a group that is so vital to our success, because these are kids who have been in the program. They understand what it is that we want to try to do, and they've been very instrumental this year into bringing the others kind of under their wing and really stepping up and being a big part of the leadership of our program. Kind of looking at our season this year, we've wrapped up our regular season. We ended on a good note, taking 2 wins at Ulysses last Thursday, and that brought our final record for the season to 16-4, which puts us heading into regionals as the number 2 seed. A week from today, we'll be heading to Pratt, and I haven't seen the final results on that, but I think it's looking like either Pratt Skyline or Net City will be our first round opponent there, and we're excited for the challenge. We're excited for the opportunity. So for the second year in a row, this group of girls finished undefeated in High Plains League play. So 10-0 this year makes us league champions for the 3rd year in a row. We'll get into the letter awards. The following players are those who have met the requirements to letter for softball. So as I call your name, please come forward and see Coach Smith there. And you guys can line up across the way here. Haley Carrillo, Tori Caton, Darcy Forbes, Paola Garcia, Chantry Hoskinson, Whitney Jimerson, Ambrosia Layfield, Sabrina Motheis, Kylie Richardson, Abigail Easterwood, Whitley LaRue, Bailey McCabe, Bianca Boltman, Reagan Nave, Chevelle Ralston, Sydney Brilhart, and Ellie Higgins. Also lettering are our 3 managers, Megan Daves, Katie Alvarado, and Macy Tucker. And the toughest job out of anybody are those 3 who have to, I'm not going to say that I changed my mind a lot, but we move the pitching machine and we carry equipment from place to place, and those 3 do a great job for us. So we'll get into some team awards here. We'll give out 3 awards tonight: the Offensive Award, Defensive Award, and the Wildcat Leadership Award. Before we do that, I guess I'll let you guys return to your seats. I'm getting ahead of myself. The offensive MVP for this year is a player who's really stepped up. She started the year hitting a little lower in our lineup, and after our first game of the year against Cimarron, I realized, I probably better move her up in the lineup and give her a chance to get some more RBIs, and she definitely lived up to that opportunity. Currently, she leads the High Plains League in RBI with 39. That is 8 more than the next highest player. She's ranked in the top 2 in the High Plains League. She ranked second in the High Plains League with 34 runs, and she leads High Plains League with 3 home runs. She is our team leader in batting average and slugging percentage, 423 batting average, 676 slugging percentage respectively. Both very impressive numbers. So the offensive MVP goes to Chabelle Ralston. The next award for the evening is the defensive MVP. And that goes to the player who has had the most impact on the opponent's ability to score runs on us. For us, that happened most notably in the pitcher's circle. This young lady has 74 innings pitched. She started 11 games and appeared in 15. Her current record, 9 wins, 2 losses, and she has picked up 2 saves. Her current ERA is 2.17 and a WHIP of 1.36. Again, very, very good statistics there. Along with her work in the circle, she's been one of our more consistent fielders. She plays second base when she doesn't pitch, and there she is fielded at an 890 percentage. So the defensive MVP award goes to Whitley LaRue. The next award for the evening is the Wildcat Leadership Award. What makes this award a little unique is it's voted on by the players. They're asked to choose from any member of the team the best exemplifies what it means to be a Lady Wildcat softball player. We give them a rubric which includes 4 qualities. We want them to look at leadership, work ethic, winning attitude, and sportsmanship, and then ask them to vote one of their teammates who they believe to best answer the definition of those qualities. So the winner of this year's award, as voted by her peers, is Sabrina Matais. Like Coach Aranda said, our league meeting is Wednesday, so we don't really know what league awards our girls will be getting yet, but I expect a pretty good showing from Elkhart players. I think like I said, we went through the league undefeated this year. We have a lot of the statistical leaders in the league on our team, so I'm excited to see the results of that coming up on Wednesday. The final award of the night is going to be presented by the seniors. So if all the seniors could please come forward. Coach Smith has been a member of EA softball for several years now and has had the opportunity to work with many of the girls that have come through the program. Her knowledge and experience has been very valuable to us, especially preparing girls to move from the JV to the varsity level. Earlier this spring, Coach Smith announced that she would be stepping down as assistant coach to focus more on her job. She will be sorely missed by myself and all members of EHS softball. So with that, I will turn it over to Sabrina.
If any of you'd like to know, he put this on me today. Told me I was giving a speech and I didn't have a choice. So, over the years, Coach Smith has seen many players come and go, and she has left her mark on each and every one of them. One of the things Coach Smith started doing a few years ago for the senior night was giving each girl a jar of dirt with the following inscription. On this dirt, you've literally left it all. Blood, sweat, and tears. You've made friendships that will always be a part of you. You fought side by side with girls who can relate with how bad you want to win. This dirt holds your laughter as tightly as it holds your frustration. Life goes on, off this dirt, but nothing can compare to the feelings you get while standing on it. Each can compare to the feelings you get while standing on it. Each time you look at this jar of dirt, know in your heart what it stands for and remember these years as all of your memories it holds. We would like to present Coach Smith with a plaque with this inscription, as well as a jar of dirt from the field and a ball from this year's team. Coach Smith, thank you for all of your work and dedication to us in EHS softball. We will miss you and all that you bring to this program, and we love you.
Track, girls track. All the wonderful young ladies who participate in girls track, can you stand up? Ah, yes, 1, 2, 3, there they are. Beautiful. And this year's girls track team, let's give them a round of applause. Now, I know everyone's listening to what's going on outside, but we're not going to blow away yet. Our track, our HBL track awards will not happen until this Friday. We've, as a league, decided that if you win your event at the league meet, that's when you become all league. So we have some opportunities this Friday, and hopefully some of these young ladies will become first team all league. But here are our letter winners for this year. Aubrey Schumacher, please come on down. Co Schultz, Jasmine Levadio, J.C. Parker, Camry Richardson, and Jenny Johnson. This is this year's letter winners. Ladies, right up here. Right up here. Got to get your picture. I guess I'm under orders to go fast. So, this award is going to go to a young lady who has worked extremely hard and has dedicated a lot of hours into her particular event and has improved mightily. So this year for
our most valuable jumper will go to Camry Richardson. Unfortunately, the awards come so early in the track season because we're still going to have about a month's worth of track. And so I know some other young ladies may step up, but at this point in time, Camry has shown that she's sitting about 6th in region, so she has a good shot at making state track meet. This year, for our most improved, this young lady has knocked off about 2 minutes off of her time, which is extremely significant. She's worked hard in the off season, worked hard in the fall, and now she's placed herself in the top 4 in our regional meet coming up here in 2 weeks. I just want to encourage you guys, if you're not doing anything in about 2 weeks or a week from this Friday up in Sublette, come by. You're going to see some excellent performances. But this year, our most improved goes to Code Schultz. Yes, ESPN is calling. All right, and for our most valuable overall female performer for this year, this young lady, we have a lot of freshmen out here. This young lady has risen to the top. She surprised a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes in the HPL with her abilities, and she has worked extremely hard. And so this year's most valuable overall performer is Jenna Johnson.
You have to turn that way.
All right, boys track. If you participated in boys track this year, please stand up. Yeah. All right. Thank you. You know, we're one of the few schools, small schools, that do dual sports. And I want to thank the school board and administration and athletic director for allowing dual sports here. 3 years ago when I got here, we had about 6 people in track, boys and girls. Now, we're over 20 in boys and girls, but it's allowed our athletes who are in dual sports to participate. So it's given us a great opportunity. So this year's letter winners for boys track, come get up their letter, be Noah Bain, Justin McKinley, Ray Arcedo, Manny Moreno, Chase O'Hare, Elian Prieto, and Lane Wisenham are this year's letter winners. In fact, each of these young men are dual sports. One is golf and the rest of them are in baseball. So we've had their head coaches in baseball and golf really work together with the track team and allow these young men to do both. And they've excelled and are doing a great job. Got it. Awesome. You got your pictures. Good. For our most improved award, it's a young man who, first of all, I was extremely surprised came out for track. He had, I talked to him before, and he just had no interest at all. But he came out, he's worked hard, and he lettered this year, and he's getting a lot faster and a lot better as an athlete. So our most improved goes to Manny Moreno. our most valuable sprinter. This last summer, these two young men, they were at football workouts and they were sprinting together on the track. And I could just hear Lane yell out there, "What? He cheated! He jumped!" Okay, you two line up again. So Elion and Lane lined up again. Guess what happened? Elion beat him again. Lane was getting mad and upset. He jumped again. But this goes to prove that this is the second year that Elion's been doing dual sports. Last year he was in regional finals with the 100. And this year, he becomes our most valuable sprinter. Elion, go ahead. You know, every so often you get just certain athletes who come along that, as a coach, you can just go, yeah, I was his position or event coach, but he just naturally is gifted in a lot of areas. This young man decided to come out and all he wanted to do was run the 4x1. And a couple of weeks in, he goes, "Coach, can I go practice long jump?" "Sure, you can go practice long jump." And I'm over working with the high jumpers. Then he comes back about 15, 20 minutes later and says, "Coach, I jumped about 19 foot over there." I said, "Great, good job." Then he looks and goes, "Hey, can I try high jumping?" "Sure, you can get in there and high jump." Well, after about his third meet, he cleared 5'10" that put him and another one of our young men in the top 6 in region in high jump. He's also at number 7 in long jump. He's sitting about number 9 in the 100. And then our 4x1 is sitting right now in region at number 2 that this young man has been a part of. So our most valuable overall is Lane Wisenand.
The Booster Club would like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Try to hurry. I'd also like to thank everyone for their memberships that have helped us pick several football meals, the chili cook-off, the ice cream social, and also this, and we also was able to give out 4 scholarships this year. I would like to announce the Business of the Year, and that goes to Seaboard Farms. They have helped us with alumni softball and baseball games. They have donated the pork burgers. They've donated their cooker to let us cook, and I just would like to present them with the Business of the Year.
Okay, now I'm gonna spread some truth to this sprinting thing in the summer. Coach, that was not true. I don't know where you were at, but Lane did beat me. Okay, I'm gonna fly through this. Usually I read off a lot of stuff, but you're probably as nervous as I am about hail damage to your vehicle. So our final awards of the evening are the Sportsman of the Year and the Athlete of the Year. These awards are voted on by the varsity coaches, Board of Education members, the administration team, and then 3 random community members. This year there were 17 ballots returned. Our Sportsmen of the Year, neither one of them are here today, but we're going to go ahead and announce them. Our female sportsman of the year goes to Miss Kylie Richardson. And our male sportsman of the year goes to Mr. Weston Bolden. On the athlete of the year, this was the tightest voting we've ever had since I've been here. That's a good thing because that means we have a lot of kids in the running. Literally, one side we had a tie, and on the boys' side, 1 point separated. Our female 2019 Elkhart High School Athlete of the Year, we have co-winners, Kylie Richardson and Chantry Hoskinson. Hey, and as soon as we finish this last award, if you pick up all your trash, and if some people could help put up tables, we'd appreciate it. Don't worry, it sounds like you're already getting plenty of damage. So, our male 2019 Athlete of the Year, Mr. Lane Wisnan. Please throw your trash away. Thank you. Athletes. Just come back.